This is a podcast about our lived experience, which unfortunately includes infant death and subsequent mental health struggles. Please take good care of yourself and only listen if this content feels safe for you right now. We'll still be here when you're ready.
Hi, I'm Judith.
And I'm Alina. We are internet friends turned real-life friends who both experienced the tragic loss of our sons to sudden infant death syndrome in winter of 2021.
In the year after Aiden died, my husband and I both became unemployed. My parents divorced, and we had to move 5 times for various reasons.
And as for me, just a few weeks before my son Quinn died, my then husband had come out to me as a transgender woman and were subsequently divorcing.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
But as long as we're living, we will love our sons deeply and work to make sure that we live a life that makes them proud.
Welcome to As Long As I'm Living podcast.
We're so glad you're here. Lots of work. Hi.
Hello, I'm tired. Are you tired?
Oh my God. Well, I'm tired because I've been running up and down the stairs because I don't know why. But you know what? I realized that now that I have a carpeted floor, I wonder if the audio will be better when I record in here.
Maybe.
I bet it will be. Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm so tired. You know, I'm physically tired and I'm sleepy and I'm emotionally drained and exhausted. Tired.
We are the day after Quinn's birthday
Party, which was fine. It was good. It was as good as the dead baby's birthday party can be.
It wasn't for you.
It was not for me. Yeah, Judith and I were just talking about this on the phone. These things, these birthday parties and these memorial celebrations and the whatevers, like they're really not, I don't feel like they're for me. And Judith, you don't think they're for you. Like these are for our families so that they have a place for their grief, for their feelings, and for all of us to come together and remember him. But like I remember him all the time. So this is like
not for you. Not for me.
But it was nice.
We're glad it's behind us.
Yeah. Yes. It was also a big day because my boyfriend met my in-laws.
How'd that go?
That's a funny sentence.
That is a funny sentence. How did it go?
It went good. It went fine. We all are, you know, it went fine. We did a good job.
And you all will be meeting Alina's boyfriend soon.
Yeah. He's agreed to come on the podcast. So
he has agreed to come on the podcast. So we're excited to have him on the podcast.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? You guys have actually heard him before.
Oh, you have.
You've actually heard him before, and I will, once we do the episode, that's a little teaser for you. You've heard him before that, but okay.
Okay, what's going on in your life? Okay, so let's see. Your heart is being monitored. You just had Quinn's birthday party.
Yes. My heart is being monitored, and this monitor is making me want to crawl out of my skin and rip it off my chest, Hulk style. I think I might kill someone. It is so annoying. So this is day 6 of 30 days of monitoring, and I feel like this is the first day where I'm able to forget about it for like 5 minutes at a time. So I think I'm moving in the right direction. In case anybody missed this, go back and listen to our episode called Answers and Questions, because I have a heart condition now. So, and I talk all about it.
I know more about it. Okay, so what else is going on in your life? You're working, you work hard.
I work hard. I have got a new job in July. I feel like I'm hitting my stride with my job. I don't know, Judith. I'm tired. It's like it never ends. And you know, I feel all this like medical stuff is just like adding another layer, and I was already so tired before, and I feel like wearing this heart monitor and like having that be so omnipresent it reminds me a little bit of like the early days of the grief, where like it was so omnipresent, like I couldn't forget about it. It was like every second of the day I couldn't breathe, and now it's like kind of feels like that again with my health stuff. So I'm just trying to remember that part passed. At some point I was able to get into more of a equilibrium, new normal, and I'll get there with the health stuff too. But I'm tired. I'm really tired.
I will tell you what my therapist says, which is that right now you're in an earthquake.
Yeah.
And things are moving, but they will land. They will land in a different place, but they will land again.
Yeah. And you know what my therapist said today, which was so wise, because I was saying like, this has been hard in my relationship with my boyfriend. Hard is the wrong word. He's been doing a really wonderful, sweet job taking care of me and all of this, but like, this is a lot for a new relationship. Like, setting aside my health stuff, like just the fact that I have a dead baby and I'm still technically legally married to somebody else, like that's a lot for a relationship. Then throw in the fact that I could die at any second, like this is a lot. And this just has kind of made me feel all of a sudden like kind of unlovable, even though he very much loves me and I know he thinks I'm lovable. It just makes me feel unlovable. And what my therapist said was, Alina, you are very bruised, but you are not broken. You're bruised in a very visible way, and like you keep getting more new bruises, but they will heal. You're not broken, like irreparably broken. And I feel like I need to like write that on a post-it and put it on my mirror. I need to. What's going on with you, Judith? It's not all sunshine and roses with you either.
No, I'm in the middle of the Jewish holidays, so it's just kind of like a triggering time for me and my family and my husband and all of us. It's like kind of like being the thick between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like that's kind of where we are. But like more between like Christmas and New Year's, if there were 5 Christmases and 5 New Years. That's where we are right now. And it's a hard time for a lot of reasons. I think it's just like always a little bit sad. I think that religious holidays can be triggering. I think like the talk about God and omnipresent and it's just like some of the language is stressful when it talks about like, you know, our Father, our King, which I actually think is a uniquely Jewish thing. So I don't think many people are going to know what I'm talking about. But the point is that God can be seen as like a king, like an ultimate ruler, or it can be seen as like a father who has unconditional love. And I really struggle with both those things. I don't know how I got on this conversation, but the point is I struggle with both those things because I feel like neither. Like I don't like the idea of like this person who makes decisions about who lives and who dies with no compassion. And then I also think about a father and I'm like, well,
why would a father let this happen to me?
Yeah, so I just kind of struggle with the language and all the family time is really triggering and difficult. And my husband has a lot of religious questions too. So that comes up. My in-laws are moving from out of the country to 2 hours away. That's like another thing that's been going on in my life. Let's see what else. It's just always. I don't even know. You should just edit that all out because that made no sense, that ramble. Let me think. Give me a second. I wasn't preparing to like record right now, so I don't really have anything profound to say.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need time.
You know, I think.
Oh, I was gonna say something.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I've been focusing on right now is my marriage. Yeah. Something interesting, and you can delete everything I just said before because this is actually important. One of the things that I think is interesting about child loss is I think that there's this natural evolution in any relationship when there's a birth where like all of your attention is put onto this alive child. And so your relationship between you and your husband or your wife, you and your partner, like it's no longer like 100% focused on one, like on each other. It's now focused on this child. One thing that's interesting about infant loss, especially in our case, is because we had like 2.5 months but then he died and our relationship was still had this like third wheel in the middle of it, which was a dead child that required a lot of mental space, but not like actual time.
Yeah.
Right. And then now, a year later, I have an alive child. And I think my relationship again is shifting because the attention that we had for one another is now being shifted. But it doesn't feel like it's like I have 2 children worth of mental space taking up. Just feels like I haven't really tended to my relationship in a while because
you haven't, like, I think normally in a relationship, you have the baby naturally in order to have the baby remain alive, like evolutionarily, you focus on that baby.
Yes.
And then at some point, as the baby gets older and needs less less demanding, the relationship can come back, not to the forefront, but can come back. You can start to spend more energy on that. But you never got the opportunity to do that, you and your husband, because Aiden died. And so you were both devastated. And then you had another baby. So you like,
I'll go back and I'll say like Aiden died. And then we were the only 2 people in this bizarre world. And that kind of was in some ways very unifying.
Yeah.
And then you have a child, and I almost feel like now I'm waking up 2 babies later, and I'm like, wait a minute, just happened the other day. This is why it came up. My husband said something like, oh, like you and I do different things than we used to do before, like on our dates. And I was thinking about that. I was like, do we do different things? Do we not do different things? I don't know, because so much has happened. Is it like, do we go on fewer dates because we have a dead child? Do we go on fewer dates because we have an alive child? Do we go on fewer dates because of COVID? Like, I don't know.
It's impossible to tease it all out. There's so
Exactly.
There's so many factors.
And or like, do we go on dates? We just do different dates. Like, do you count like going to the cemetery as a date? Like, I don't know. We did a lot of that last year. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's also like I feel like as a wife, I'm starting to think about my marriage, because I didn't have any space for my marriage when I was grieving, and I didn't have any space for my marriage when I had a newborn. I didn't have any space for my marriage when I was pregnant. And now I'm like, wait a minute, like,
yeah,
what do I want this marriage to look like? What does it look like to have an alive child and a dead child and be married? You know?
Yeah. And we don't go into a lot of detail about your marriage on the podcast, because that's not really like exclusively your story to tell. And it's just, to respect your husband's privacy. But like, if you're listening to this and you are struggling in your marriage after your baby died, you are not alone. I'm just going to say that on Judith's behalf, you're not alone.
You're not alone. Hard. And I will also say things that were in the first year that didn't come up in the first year came up in the second year. Things that came up in the first year didn't come up. Like, new things come up where it's just like different. And I'll say also, like, okay, the first year you're just trying to get through. Let's just think of the example of like a birthday. Yeah. The first year you're just trying to get through the birthday. Yeah. Okay. The second year, like, wait a minute. This is coming up because we're thinking about my son's birthday in December. Okay. Yeah. This is the second year. Last year, we just tried to survive the day. This year, we have a baby that we want to celebrate in. And then we have like the day and how we feel about it. And then we have like we as parents together, how we feel about it. But some of us want, like, we all might want different things. And then we are part of this family. And so what does the entire family need? Like my parents, my in-laws, my sister, my brother, what do they need from this birthday? And I feel like as you get further out, it's like it's the intensity for you lessens. And so you're starting to realize, like, okay, every year, what do I want this to look like? Does that make any sense at all? Yeah. Like this year on Aiden's birthday, do I want to take off work and spend the day with my husband? Do I want to take off my work and spend the day by myself? Does my husband want to spend the day with me? Does he want to spend the day with himself? Do we want to spend time with our daughter and make it like a family day? Yeah. Do we want to do something for my whole extended family, or is that just the first year kind of thing? Like, I kind of feel like I'm setting a trend. I'm like setting a precedent. Yes. I very much so feel like I'm setting a precedent, and I don't know what I want that precedent to look like.
Because year one, like you said, is just getting through the day. Year two, you have a little bit more space. And I think there's a lot of pressure associated with that space, because you feel like you want to make the most of that energy that you now have to do something that feels right. And it's like, it still is not going to feel good, but you have the space to make some choices. Whereas last year it was like, there were no choices. It was just literally breathing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think that different people grieve different ways. Different people want to do different things. Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking about Quinn's birthday party. I did not have a birthday party for him his first year. And this year we did it. And I don't know if we'll do it next year. Like, we're just playing it by ear. Each year is going to be different, I think.
I think another example of this is because we were talking about the Jewish holidays. Like, I shared that I went to services, and there was some really triggering language there for me. Like, my husband chose not to go for one of the holiday services. Yeah. You know, like every year before that, we were a family that did go. Yeah. So now we're a family that half of us kind of goes. Yeah. Do I want my child, like my daughter, to see a family that goes, a family that doesn't go, a family that takes care of himself? It's just complicated, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think as time goes on, I'm realizing that we're, grieving in different ways beyond what I thought that meant. I thought it meant like, acutely, how do we take care of ourselves in that immediate aftermath? Like we figured out how to do that, but I don't think we've figured out what that means what this huge shift means for us long term.
Yeah.
Are we no longer a family that belongs to a synagogue or a temple? Or are we a family that belongs, like, I don't know, because things are not where we left them. It's not like a year later we picked up everything and life went on as normal. It's like the world fell apart and then we're coming back down to ground, and I'm realizing nothing is where it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means for what it looks like for my future. Does that make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense, and it's so
Okay.
unsettling. I know. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it's almost like Aiden died. You like walked out of your house when Aiden died, and now you're like opening the door to your house again, and you're like, wait a second, who lives here? Like none of the furniture is the same.
Exactly.
Like the food in the fridge is like stuff you don't even like. You're like, whose house is this? And then
Well, and sometimes it feels like let's say I'm walking into the house and I see like a super modern aesthetic where like there's no clutter at all. And my husband walks in the house and he sees literally old lady's house with 25 million things in it. It's like we're walking back into the house, but we see totally different things.
Mhm.
And like none of it looks like what it was before.
Yeah. This
I
is like,
think that this is very normal. I'm just trying to figure it out.
yeah. We're just putting some language to, this is like one of our most rambly episodes ever. We have no plan for this one, but I like it.
I don't
We're
know.
just rambling. You guys, it's fucking hard out here
Yeah.
to live in our lives. Like this fucking sucks.
Another thing I'll say, because we're rambling, is I've been making new friends.
Yeah.
I've been making new friends. I'm really proud of the friendships that I've been making. I was invited to like someone's house on Saturday afternoon, and she had other friends that came over, and they asked me, they're like, oh, do you have any other kids? And I said, I have a son. And then they both said, oh, how old is he? And I said, oh, he passed away. And I'm really proud of myself because I feel like I handled it really well. I just said, yeah, it's really sad. And I'll say, but I'm so happy to be living in this new place. Like, I'm glad it kind of worked out that we moved.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really proud of myself. It feels like every time I have that conversation and it's smooth, I deserve a gold star.
Yeah. If Judith a year ago or 18 months ago could see you having that conversation, what would she think?
I think she would think, I don't know. I don't know if I would be so proud. Like, I think I would.
Would she be surprised? Would she be proud? Would she be horrified that you didn't mention him up front? Would she be, well, how can you say that without crying? Like, what would she be thinking?
I think that she would say, like, Judith, things look like awfully normal from the outside. Are you hiding something? Or like, I feel like I would have to convince her, like, no, it's really okay, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really want to go into it with them.
Do you feel like from the outside you look normal now?
I 100% think I look normal from
I
the
think
outside.
I look normal from the outside too. This is just hitting me now.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I look normal from the outside.
I think I look normal from the outside. Like I have this new job and like except for people I've told, like nobody knows I have a dead kid at home or not at home. I guess he doesn't live here. He's gone.
The dead kid at home.
You know, like I think I walk down the street and I don't look traumatized. Are we normal from the outside? I think that's okay.
And I think that's why you're saying, like, I think we look normal from the outside. I think if you said to me, like, the person who just experienced the loss came and looked at you, I think that person would be sad that you look normal. That's what I think.
I think so too. I think it's both. I think I'd be like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm not suffering as much as I am right now. But I also think mainly I'd be like, how could you move on? That's
what I would be thinking too. Because from the outside, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, the outside looks like I've moved on.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've moved on inside. I think I've integrated, but more, but I have not moved on, but I do think it kind of looks like I've moved on. That's unsettling and beautiful. Wow.
So do you think this was a good podcast? Or you think this is really bad?
Judith has to go for a work meeting, but I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, today is the day that we release the episode about all my heart stuff. And from the bottom of my broken, crazy, fucked up heart, thank you, all of you, for your messages and your comments and your emails. It has been so heartwarming. Wow, I can't stop saying heart.
You got another one. That's why I was pulling out my phone. It says you just got another one.
I did. It's been so heartwarming.
And then someone wrote, and how amazing is Judith for flying to see you? And I was going to write, that's amazing for flying to see you. But I instead wrote, it ended up being really fun in its own way. It was a really fun trip.
It was a fun.
Wasn't it a fun trip?
It was. It really was. We had a really good time.
I know. That's why I'm so excited.
All right. Well, everybody, sorry for this ramble. That's just where our brains are at these days. Scrambled eggs.
Oh, we got another email. Did you see that person's mom emailed us on our email?
Ona's mom. Hi, Ona's mom. Aw. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it.
All right, the rest of this episode is going to be little clips that I've recorded over the last couple of weeks to try to catch you up in real time on my feelings about all this heart stuff. There's some anger in there, there's some confusion, there's some grief. So, bye.
Hello, Alina here. It's September 5th and I'm recording this ahead of time. I want to be able to share with you guys the kind of real timeline, raw reactions of how it felt to get this news. And, the first couple of days are what you hear on the podcast episode. But by the time I release that, there will have been a whole bunch more, so many more feelings. So anyway, hi. I found out 6 days ago that my son Quinn died of SIDS relating to a gene mutation that gave him a heart arrhythmia, and he inherited that from me. So I also have this heart condition, and today it's literally feeling like whiplash between like, oh my God, I'm so relieved to know this news. I feel so at peace that I have all this clarity around all this stuff. And then literally 5 seconds later, I am so incredibly anxious. I'm stressed out about all of the new unknowns. It's like before they were unknown unknowns, and now I know I have this heart condition. I know it will affect future children. I know I have to do IVF. So now I have the unknowns of like, how is that all going to work? Like, is my health okay? I don't know. I haven't seen the cardiologist yet. Like, will IVF work for me? Like, I don't know. I haven't seen the fertility doctor yet. Like, it's so, I feel like a crazy person because it's like every 5 seconds I'm feeling good and then I'm feeling like crap. And honestly, this is completely normal, but it fucking sucks. Well, update. It has been 1 week since I found out the news, and I have entered the anger stage of grieving. I don't believe in the stages of grieving, but this is the angriest I've ever been in my whole life. I am so fucking furious. I'm so angry. I feel like I was just starting to build a happier ever after, and now it's like everything is all fucked up again. It's all fucking fucked. Like, what? I don't understand why all this shit keeps happening to me. I don't know. Today I just feel really angry. It's so unfair. All right, well, it has been about 2 weeks now. And I think I've moved through a lot of big feelings about this. I decided to go back to EMDR for a couple of sessions to process some deeper feelings about this. But at this point, I feel like I have a plan. I still don't have an appointment with the cardiologist, but I've been in contact with their office, and I'm gonna do that. Go see a cardiologist. I've got my fertility doctor. I've got an appointment with her. I have a plan, and a plan feels good. I still hate this. I still hate this for me. I really do. But I'm feeling a little bit better about it. A little calmer. Yeah, calmer. It's September 12th.
And so I got this news on August 31st, so this is 13 days later. And for this whole time, I've been trying to get an appointment with this specialty cardiologist, and it's a doctor's office, and you know how things can sometimes take a long time. Well, Judith has not been having that, and she's been calling every single day, and she is driving the office absolutely crazy, which I know because I just got a call from the doctor on his cell phone. I'm crying because this is a very disjointed update. I'm crying because I just spoke to my cardiologist for the first time, and he told me that I really don't have anything to worry about. He said that obviously this does put me at an elevated risk, but he said I don't need to panic. If I've made it to 31 years, it's very unlikely that something's going to measurably change in a short period of time. And he said that once families enter care, like once it's to realize that this gene exists in the family, and once the family enters like the medical system and is treated for this, like it's really not a big deal. But of course that makes me realize that it is a big deal if you're not treated. And so I think it is just like hitting me. I think it's just hitting me again in a more solid shape that Quinn's death actually probably did save my life and my family's. So anyway, complicated feelings on that. I think I didn't realize how worried I was, or how much of a relief it would feel like to know that. Like, I think this has been just like a low-level anxiety over the last 13 days. You know, it's not as all-consuming as the first days of the loss, but it has certainly been very stressful. And, you know, Judith is going to listen to this and she is going to laugh, because this whole time, I actually need to tell you guys, the reason I got this personal phone call from my new cardiologist on his cell phone at 5:30 p.m. is because Judith has been a bulldog trying to get me this appointment. She's been calling the doctor's office every single day and pretending to be me. And let me tell you all, she has been fierce. She said to them, when she called, one of the times she called, she said, "I've had to bury a son, and I don't want my mother to have to bury me." She is incredible, and I'm lucky to have her, and my mom and my boyfriend are also feeling lucky that she's calling everybody on my behalf, because I hate the phone and I would not have been calling this frequently. But anyway, all this to say, I'm just feeling some big feelings right now, and I actually recorded this first before I told anybody that I spoke to the doctor, including Judith. So I'm gonna go spread the news to my loved ones now.
September 17th. Most saliently, this feels like the lead up to Quinn's birthday, but it is actually also the lead up to my cardiologist appointment. Quinn's birthday is on Thursday and the cardiologist is on Tuesday. I feel like I've been kind of accidentally ignoring Quinn's birthday just because this heart stuff is all so uncertain, and then the last couple of days, maybe even just yesterday and today, I feel like I've been ignoring the heart stuff and thinking about Quinn's birthday. So it all comes and goes. I think this will probably be my last diary update before the cardiologist appointment. I have a lot of questions for him. I want to know, how dangerous is this? Am I going to die from it? I want to know, are there concerns about me being pregnant in the future? I want to know, what should my family do about this? I think I'm looking for reassurance that although this is a big deal, it's treatable, because I feel like obviously Quinn's death, you can't treat death. He's gone. But I don't want this big scary thing to kill me too. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay, well, I went to the cardiologist. And I honestly feel like I have more questions than answers. Like so many more questions than answers. And now I'm feeling weird about the fact that I've recorded all of this to release in a podcast, because I was kind of hoping that I would have some answers by the time we released it. And now it's just like so many more questions. The gist is I'm probably not going to die, so that's good. We're running 10 zillion tests: chest x-ray, blood work, echocardiogram, ECG, at home long-term, 4-week ECG, MRI. Like, I'm getting all of the tests, to try to see what's going on with my heart. Because it seems like the initial thing, while related, is not all that's going on with my heart. Basically, I have an unknown heart thing that's probably benign, but also needs to be looked at and diagnosed and figure out why it's going on. So that's what's going on. Still, a lot of open questions, and I guess I will keep you posted as much as I feel comfortable sharing. Thanks for following along.
To all of our wonderful new friends, we want to hear from you. Email us at aslongasimlivingpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at aslongasimlivingpodcast. We'll get back to you as soon as our grieving brains allow.
Yay!